This is video 2. So it's a corporate war, and it's fought mentally, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically through wars, and it's maintained through the wars, and it's fought on the social economic level as well. And so you have to ask yourself, are you willing to invest everything, of your life to sustain, the life of the beta junk male fascist corporate culture of death, because it's a multinational corporate corporations, that function globally, of course, but they're still controlled by one market, and that is the Rothschild Zionist, British Zionist, fascist corporate culture of death. Perpetual, death, culture, perpetual death, Anyway, so, and because it operates, it believes it functions, it has a monopoly on the market, it can squash, it can crush any other nation, and any nation who dares to even attempt to establish, their nationhood, or by investing, or having some stability in the global market, whereby they could make a difference in the global market, because that's where basically the life is controlled, right? And if there's only one, source that's controlling the market, then they're controlling all aspects of life, so there has to be diversity in the market in order to keep it balanced, so anyway, so the way it stands, with this domination on the market, right, that's fascist, it's not really racist, it's fascist, well, it's both, but I'm only saying fascist, because it's pertaining to, I guess, both, right? Their nationhood and their culture beliefs as it relates to their nation, right? And that being British Caucasoids, right? As it relates to the Rothschilds, and they're controlling the market by controlling the money source, right? Anyway, so any other nation entering the market, because the Rothschilds have, they dominate the market, the global market, therefore they have to talk about what collusion in the politics, right? They have collusion in politics, global, so they have a strong influence, in what happens in the nations, like right now, currently, with the the attack on the Hebrew, aka black African Americans, the attack, the constant attacks on their humanity, with police brutality being the policy, though, and of course the police are are going to, you know, act in concordance with the policy, right? So if the policy is brutality, then they're going to act brutal. And that's what we see. And these are Zionist policies, as we stated. This is seen across the board, a unanimous choice of control in Palestine, and that is force, right? So anyway, that's the policy here as well, because who is, you know, the head of the Zionist party, the Zionist movement, basically. And that is, you know, the Rothschilds, you know, so that's why there needs to be balance, and you know, and in order for there to be balance, there has to be a creation of or establishment, you know, a reestablishment in the market, and that's why investing in Africa, you know, Hebrews, you know, AK blacks, you know, mandate the reparations. Invest in Africa, and those who have wealth, invest in Africa, build a kingdom, construct a kingdom, reunite the family, a global family, global humanity, reconstruct the nations. Okay? That's the new life, that's the new kingdom, the new age, right? So, anyway, having that one individual, you know, control over the market, the monopoly, right? You know, crushing every other nation that attempts to rise, right? So, and that's what as I said, the Rothschild, you know, having that monopoly is doing to the world, stagnating it, holding it back, oppressing it, you know, its growth, you know. But the beauty of that is, you know, convert that negative, you know, is that you had to learn and grow and be strong, right? And that's what it takes when their market collapses, you know, as a result of having having a new lifestyle, you know, global lifestyle, you know, where we all, humanity, you know, networks, you know, on a grand scale, right? Anyway, so yeah, they feel they can crush it because they have the dominant power, and that's the Rothschilds, right? Okay, yeah, okay. So it was perceived as so any other nation that would decide to rise would be perceived as a threat, right? Because that's competition. Competition was dangerous, right? And that's the reason for the wars, okay? Because competition is dangerous and coming in on somebody else's territory, right? Kind of like animals that mark their territory, right? Okay, as if they weren't different species, right? So anyway, yeah, so they were perceived as a threat, right? Entering the market, right? So we got repressing all these nations and claiming territory and military presence in the area, and you know, threat to national security, national corporate security, right? As it relates to being dominant in the market, right? So we've got to, you know, repress that rising nation, that rising threat, right? This is serious. This is how to stay on top with commercial power, all right? Because without commercial power, there is no power. There's no incoming, right? So it's like there's no reinforcements. This commercial thing has to work, right? So it's insane. But anyway, yeah, it has to work. For them, I'm laughing and saying it's insane because I'm recognizing the higher powers by which, you know, human beings are to channel and rechannel their energy, right? To be recycled, regenerated, right? That celestial energy absorbing that, right? So, and then thereby waking that third eye, that, you know, that higher consciousness. Anyway, so yeah, they don't have that, right? And from the third eye to creativity and, you know, born again and all this, you know, stimulation comes along, right? And with all this energy that's in the universe right now, it's like, wow, right? A natural high, cloud 9, right? Ramadan 9. Anyway, so, Yeah, so they don't have that. They got commercial power, and once they burn it, it's gone, right? So they got to use it constructively, very, very rational. Rationally, yes, but rational. Use it at a small quantity, at least as possible is what I'm saying, right? Small ratio. So, no, that's not. Is that what I want to say? No, they want to ration it out. They got to ration it out, yeah. So anyway, yeah. So that's all they got. So you can understand corporate power. I mean, what money buys services, right? Money buys allegiances. Money buys, security in most cases. So, education buys everything. That's a belief system, right? So once that's gone, they fall victim to that which they repressed. That humanity they repressed. In the market from wanting also to live. Those nations that wanted to rise, right? So they would be afraid of that. The Rothschilds would be afraid of that, right? Being as it's spoken in biblical Bible. It said those who are first will be last, those who are last will be first. So they didn't want that to apply, right? They didn't want to be last. They didn't want to fall, right? So they crushed everything, and they were afraid of falling, right? Okay, so any other market would enter in would be a threat. They didn't want to fall. They didn't want to become last, right? So let me see. Okay, so the threat would be rapidly eliminated by any means necessary, regardless if it were a consciousness, an individual, a group, a nation, or a nation of people. It did not matter. Okay? So, and it didn't matter, like I said, a nation of people, right? Genocide, torture, So anyway, yeah. So they would get rid of that threat to the market, to their commercial power. The market was their source of their life source, right? So any threat to that was a threat to their life, a threat to their power, right? And which compensated for celestial power, black power, natural power, inherent power, real man power, right? Divine power, okay? Third eye open chakra, third eye open crown chakra, power, right? Natural power, okay? Sun power. Anyway, yeah. Okay, so they want, I'm going to go on to that. Okay. So that would be a threat to them. Okay. So nothing was to impede the path of the fascist. Okay, manifest destiny, and that was to constantly be on in the the market expanding. Okay, growing. More territory. And that's what their manifest destiny is about, continues to be about expansionism, and you see them supposedly expanding into they got colonized Palestine, right? Palestine is colonized, and they want to continue to expand on that colony as they did Jamestown here in America. Right? The first colony, like they took California, one seed in the, and now it becomes a part of their body, basically. But what I mean by that is, once they get a seed in, then, or a colony in, which is like a seed, they get a seed in, right? Then the seed is threatened, right? And suddenly now the parent of the seed will intercede, right, on the seed's behalf, and it's generally to the detriment of those who were colonized by the seed, right? And it's land confiscation, right? And that's what's going on in Palestine. There's one colony, and that was the British Rothschild colony, Zionist colony, and they took over the land. No, they invaded the land, right? And colonized and claimed its territory, through so-called through a Bible they don't even believe in, to a religion they don't even practice, so that is how they claim entitlement to the land. And the science has proven it to be wrong. They're not indigenous to the land. They're not natives to the land. The Palestinians are. So it's like, go in, invade, colonize, take, confiscate the land, right, and begin to expand, right, by building their own corporations there, their settlements, right, building their settlements just like Jamestown, and then claim it to be theirs, right. So, and then what? Call in Big Brother, call in America, and to, settle any dispute, that may result from the land grab, right, from the colonizer, right, always, of course, to the, to the colonizer's benefit, right? So, in which case we have Jerusalem in dispute, right? Jerusalem's in dispute in regards to, the expansion of Israel, right? Not Israel, but the British, the Rothschild Zionist colony, which is really what the Antichrist, Antichrist, Dajjal, but more than, he's basically the Antichrist, right? Synagogue of Satan is what I'm saying, right? Because it's fake, right? So what else can it be? Look where we are. All this is real. I know it seems like a dream. It seems like a altered virtual reality, but no, this is reality. This is the times in which we seriously live, so it's very phenomenal, okay? So, it feels like you're floating underwater or something, huh? It's surreal. But anyway, so, they want to crush anybody else and any group, any nation from entering the market, and that's what basically the wars were about, and, things like that. And supporting dictators and things like that. Come on. So, it was a bear market, and that was Rothschild's name before he became a Rothschild. Was what they were, the bears, right? Amschel Bear, somebody else. No, there was Amschel Bear. They were bankers, right? I can't get their names right now. But was it Bear? They were bear. They were bears. Yeah, forget the father's name. Jacob Bear. I don't know. But anyway, they were the bears. So it was a bear's market, right? Mean, right? Mean, market, insensitive. No humanity. Didn't care. Ooh, barbaric, brutal, cruel, cold, barren market, right? Okay. So anyway, and that's the way it stayed for a very long time, right? That's where it's been since you can remember. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, so with that attitude, the bears market, it was cruel. And they were very aggressive of repressing any other, nation that chose to enter the market, right? Okay, so that was Manifest Destiny. That's what they're doing in the occupied the occupied nation of Palestine, and that's what they're doing also in Palestine too. Is expanding, by attempting to annex Syria, annex parts of Iran, annex. I mean, come the fuck on, annex part of Iran and then call Iran the terrorist. Annex parts of Syria and then call Syria aggressive. I mean, come the fuck on. And then call Syria aggressive? It's just basically that that Rothschild Zionist trying to manifest his destiny. By confiscating, annexing, territory or land that belongs to other nations, sovereign nations. And then using America's military, to bulldoze its way through. And that's just, it's like a sinkhole, recognizing, to attempt to recognize that type of, that type of illogic. Okay? So, yeah, it's just sinking, America in, right? Because, it's like, but then, that's what the politicians are paid to do, right? It's not Americans, let's say, but, they are risking America in order to build, to expand this colony, this British Zionist colony in the Holy Land, to establish this colony in the Holy Land as dominant. And that's what the Iran, undo the Obama, terrible peace agreement that was made with Iran, right? So, so that, that's part of the reason why that had to be, that agreement had to be, destroyed. Because the Zionist wants to expand, and they can't expand with a peace agreement, right? So, and America supports, the Zionists, right? The Rothschild Zionists, because they pay for the politics, right? They pay for the system, so they're paid advocates, right? Anyway, to make that dominant, right? The globe, I mean, if you think about it, the way the world, is, the events that are occurring in the world today, that are not so, that are, common knowledge, from, all aspects of life, right, are being, there's a lot of confusion, a lot of confusion. So, I forgot where it was. We'll stop right there.